This week, one of Marky Mark's Funky Bunch is flipping burgers for cash. It's true. It's weird. It's true. We'll get into that. How will the latest net neutrality news affect cord cutters everywhere? And get ready for another round of Know Your Norsk as we talk about Lillehammer in the watch list and a lot more. This is That TV Show, episode 303.
You're listening to the podcast for TV geeks everywhere.
You're listening to That TV Show with Jules Scott and Pat Crane.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us from all around TV land. My name's Pat Crane. I'm your host of the show. And Jules Scott, she's delighting us with her presence. Her present to us is her presence.
Aww. You want to
or
unwrap
something
that
like
gift?
that. Or something
You want to
like
unwrap that gift?
I'm not. I don't even want to touch that because there's like a whole slew of dirty jokes that probably could. No, I'll just leave it alone.
I just like to
It's
make
fine.
you squirm a little bit.
That's
Watch
fine.
you try to resist the dirty joke chance.
That's fine. That's fine.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I am your co-host who is evil tonight, I guess.
Evil. My evil co-host.
My evil co-host. Let's watch your co-host.
She comes from the
squirm.
evil parallel world. You can tell it because she's got a goatee.
Oh.
That's the way that you could always tell the evil
I'm
twin.
currently
The evil twin
stroking
from the
that
parallel
goatee.
world. It would have the goatee. They did a whole thing on it on South
Yes.
Park. Anyway, so now that we're completely off track, let's have a show.
Why don't we do it?
So this is a show where we talk about TV shows. And Jules, what kind of TV shows were you up to this week?
I think I'm going to make a lot of people happy this week because I started to watch Sherlock.
It's fun.
It's really fun.
It's good.
I've been kind of hanging on to that one to see if I wanted to catch it. And I decided I'm just going to go for it. So
Cool.
I started watching it. I've seen the first 2 episodes so far, and they're longer. So I've been kind of breaking them up.
Right.
Watch like half of one and then just pick it up and watch the other one. And what I loved about it is that it just grabs you right away. It was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It didn't
does.
take long to kind of get up to speed, and I absolutely love the deep observation things that they do with Sherlock. It's very, very cool. So having a blast with it, enjoying that show a lot, and I'm going to be sad because I'm going to run out of them pretty quick. There's not that many out there on Netflix right now.
There really aren't. I mean, every series is only 3 episodes, and yes, granted, they are 2-hour episodes, so they're like an hour and a half of film or whatever. But
Right.
But still, when you binge watch these shows like this, it's tougher to stay sated.
Yes,
So.
because then you're just like, I've got to wait forever for this to come out
Right.
again.
Right.
But if you have a copy of Entertainment Weekly, they have Benedict Cumberbatch is on the cover of Entertainment Weekly this week, and it's a whole thing about Sherlock and how it has kind of skyrocketed and become this thing where they can't film in public without having to what they call crash gate it, which basically putting all the fans behind police gates
right.
to keep them away from the actors. So, and because they do so much filming on location.
That's lovely.
I know, right? And so what's very cool is that they say the fans are very respectful. Like they'll wait
That's good.
and listen to the actors do their dialogue, but as soon as they're done, they're erupting in screams and yells. So very cool. I've been watching that. And then tonight before we did the show, I caught the first episode of the 2nd season of The Following, which returned on Sunday.
Yay!
And
The Following is we covered this last year, and it's the first season was pretty cool, I thought.
yeah, it was, and they don't stop with the pulling any punches. I mean, it was very violent. It was also very, very, very creepy in the first episode, like super creepy. And what they've done,
goes dark.
Oh.
It goes dark.
Yuck. Did you watch this one?
No, I have not, but I keep on watching the promos, and I saw part of it playing down live, and I was like, well, I'm planning on watching a bunch of these in a row.
Yeah.
And so because I do like to do that. I don't know how that happened, but now I just can't help but binge watch everything that I possibly can see. So I load up on stuff and then I binge watch everything and then I'm like, oh my God, when is the next one coming out? Next week? What? And then I end up waiting another few weeks so that I can build those shows up again. And
I know, and it's hard because I think this show has completely spoiled us, but it will chill you to your spine. I think this one will really, the first episode, and they leave you a lot of holes. I won't spoil anything, but you know how
I won't spoil anything, but people are going to die.
Yes, there are going to be people that die. They you remember how they left season 1.
Yeah. I mean, with Joe Carroll, he's the bad guy, right? Joe Carroll is the bad guy, and it was there was the big explosion, and they didn't find the body,
right?
And of course, you go, well, then it must have all gone to plan, and he's dead, because that's what a normal person says. We have no body, so of course he's dead.
Of course he's dead. And then the very ending scene is Ryan laying on the floor after being stabbed. And and so let's just say that Ryan is pretty much completely intact when you come back and you don't know what the heck happened. But Claire is nowhere to be found.
Oh, Claire.
Joe Carroll's wife. So anyway, like I said, I won't spoil anything. It's just they're going to do this thing where they're going to leave you. They fast forward X number of months. You don't know how many, and you have to figure out what happened and fill in all the blanks to get to the point where you are now.
Great.
So
are they going to go back at all? Were there flashbacks?
There was at least one of them.
Okay.
So you got to see a little bit of it. But I think that they're going to feed you this throughout the entire season. And I think it's only a 13 episode season again. So they're going to have some time to fill that all back in again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this week I had a bunch of the usual suspects on my watch list this week, but there was something new and very different from what we normally cover on this show.
Okay.
And it's a show on Animal Planet, and it's called Too Cute.
What?
It is adorable.
What?
It's called Too Cute, and it's on Animal Planet. And you can. I saw it on Netflix this week, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." And the wife was like, she wanted to watch it. We're thinking about getting a new puppy.
You are?
Yeah. Well, we're thinking about it. We're not. We're at the very beginning of the process, right?
I'm so excited.
And so my wife is into this thing where she has to watch hours and hours of puppy porn daily. And I'm calling it puppy porn because it is like all these cute pictures of puppies and doing different things and everything like that. And so she really wants to watch this stuff. And then so we watched Too Cute, and it was about these little puppies. There were 3 different dogs that were featured, and then it was the puppies from these 3 different litters.
Yeah.
And it was taking them from newborn to probably about 8 or 9 weeks, which is when normally puppies are brought home to their families at about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
And so one of them was a lab cross, and we're a lab family. We are. So we love the labs, and so we had to watch the entire thing of that. And it was just as the title says, too cute.
Well, I will tell you,
but it's kind of documentary style, and it's kind of cool. So
you definitely need to get on the action on animalplanet.com, because they have live streams of both puppies and kittens that you can watch all day long.
My wife listens to this show. She's gonna want to watch this nonstop. I have to put an end to it.
Pat's wife.
It's my job.
My dear. I love this woman. She can go to animalplanet.com and check out their live streams, because they've got puppies, and they had the cutest puppies the other day. I was watching it. They're bigger, though. I think those puppies are probably like 12 weeks old, not the little baby puppies.
Yeah.
But the kitten one is hysterical.
And they
you need to watch that.
And so for all the Too Cute episodes, they have things like puppies. They have kittens. They have kittens and puppies in one episode. They have kittens and like horses. I mean, it's just like they have like like farm animals and stuff like that. But it's like little babies, and so I mean, of course, it's too cute.
Of course.
Of course, it's too cute.
I absolutely love that you mentioned that for this show.
Why not? Sure. Puppy porn. That's what this show is perfect for puppy porn. No, that sounded wrong. All right, let's move it along into the Hollywood Rewind. All right, it's time to take a peek behind the curtain of what's happening this week in Hollyweird. And Jules, what's the haps? What's going on?
The haps be
the haps.
That there's a big show that we love coming back on Thursday, the 23rd.
Yes.
And it's a little reality show called King of the Nerds on TBS. Super.
I'll do that. Sure. We liked it. Last year was the first year of this, and this was featured Trade Chat, a.k.a. Panzer, a.k.a.
right.
Danielle Mackey, our friend, in WoW.
That's right.
So
this year they have 11 new nerds to come into Nerdvana to compete for the title of King of the Nerds.
Nerds!
And so I'm kind of stupidly excited for this show. I will admit this.
Yeah.
Just because of the really playful way that they do this and how fun is, tongue in cheek, but definitely serious about nerddom. And they have a crop of nerds that they're worthy. And they've done a really good job with diversity. So of course you have to look at the list of nerds and see who's going to be on your root list, who you're rooting for. And number one person that Pat would have to is Zachary, because he's from Minneapolis.
Yes.
And I think you will absolutely love Zachary because he's a World of Warcraft player as well.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have not met Zach yet at one of our area meetups or anything like that.
No.
I'm hoping that he will come out to the next one, however.
Yes.
So that we can talk, the reality show, WoW, whatever.
That's right.
And so he's kind of my hometown guy. I got to root for the guy.
Yes. And then I have to root for my hometown girl, because that's Nicole from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Close enough.
Mm-hmm.
She is a chemist. She has a chemical formula named after her, and she's a roller derby girl.
And she was in the marching band. Was she in the UW marching band?
I don't know.
I'm guessing
UW Milwaukee.
If she, was she? She went to UW
I don't know.
Milwaukee.
I'm not sure, but UW Madison would be a bigger marching band.
Yes. I would think if you put marching band member in your resume and you are from Wisconsin, you had to go to UW Madison.
You had to.
Because that marching band is insane.
Some of my closest friends are both alumni of the marching band, and the stories that I hear of that and what they went through for training, holy moly.
I know plenty of guys that were in there because I was in band in high school, and some of those guys went to Madison and were in the marching band. Mm-hmm. And they were the guys, I knew two guys that were the guys that carried the sousaphones around.
Oh, yeah.
And did the 360s and 720s in the air with this big, huge, heavy piece of metal around their neck.
Oh, yeah.
And it is probably the most intense, fun marching band I have ever seen in my life.
It is absolutely amazing.
They actually have, for those guys that don't know, they actually have a thing called fifth quarter for all of their football games. They have a thing called fifth quarter, and fifth quarter is the marching band comes out and plays cool songs.
Yeah, and everybody stays. You stay to hang out and dance in the stands with the band, because that's the best part. And the band, they run around all over the place, and they're up in the stands on the field. It's a blast. So yeah. So Nicole was in the marching band.
Yep.
And then there are a bunch of other contestants that seem really interesting. The ones that I think are worthy of watching. Number one is Xander.
Okay.
He is he's a vlogger, and he is a graphic designer, and he's a very theatrical, like super theatrical, and he's very
he's into LARP.
Oh, definitely. So he's one to watch. He's very dynamic. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and he's probably going to have some really good one-liners.
A friend of mine, and I know that we're going to get off topic here and talk about my life. Yes, this is what's going to happen. So a friend of mine actually did a documentary on LARPing. in the Minneapolis area.
Really?
And yes, this was a few years ago, and she actually, I'm trying to remember what the title is. Anyway, but she did a documentary about LARPing, and it was just so strange.
Yeah.
Because, we're gamers, so we're used to seeing like our characters do these huge spell effects, and we don't have to like say things like fireball, fireball, fireball. And it's like they're like fireball, you're dead. Whatever it is just so strange to me because it takes the game and puts it into real life in such a way that I don't understand it personally, but
it's completely immersive. I mean,
Right.
You're dressing up like the character you are, and you are acting out every bit of it.
Right, you have to buy into it completely, 100%.
No sense of embarrassment. It's total dedication to
Something I couldn't do for LARPing. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do
No. So I would say Xander's definitely one to watch. Another one to keep an eye on is Brian, who is a library science scholar. And he just graduated from Yale with I think a master's degree or a PhD in 18th century European history. But the thing about Brian that makes him so unique and interesting is that he talks about this on his little tape thing, is his beard. And the way that he's got like a 70s beard and a 70s longer haircut.
Okay.
I swear when you watch this video, Pat, his head is the same width as his hips. I'm not kidding.
All right.
You must watch this video on TBS.com.
Okay.
It's really funny to
All
watch.
right.
And I'm like, you have the same width of your hips as your head. That's weird.
All right.
And there are a lot of fun. They also did something this year that was different, and they had the People's Nerd, and that's Josh. He's a game vlogger with 700,000 YouTube subscribers, and he's also a nerdcore rapper and beatboxer.
Right. And there's a couple of engineers and a roboticist and a woman who plays ice hockey and holds a master's degree in space studies.
Mm-hmm.
And aerospace engineer, quadlingual Japanophile.
Mm-hmm.
Look out. I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff going on here. So this will be a bunch of smart people.
So
Thursday.
Thursday.
This is going to be cool.
Thursday on
Really
TBS. Cool. Check it out. We will be watching, and hopefully we will be having some rundowns on this show and more.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Did you want to do that rundown bit?
The weekly rundown, you mean?
Yeah. The weekly rundown. Something new we're trying. It's called the weekly rundown. Oh, and then of course the volume was way down. So I'm going to turn the volume back up and then I'm going to run it. There we go. Epic fail on the sounder. That's all right. It's something we're calling the weekly rundown. What are we planning on doing with this little spot here?
That's just a chance for us to kind of go through what's coming up and things that you might want to keep your eyes on. This is the time of year where things are starting to sprinkle into the new watching, so you might want to see if you like it.
Yep.
This is not necessarily one that I put in here that I think most people will like, but I find that it's kind of an interesting thing to talk about. And there's a new show on A&E called Wahlburgers. And it conjures exactly what you're thinking. The Wahlberg brothers, Mark and Donnie, they own a restaurant with their brother Paul. And this is a reality show showing the behind the scenes of what Wahlburgers is in the Boston area.
Right. And Mark, by the way, did not necessarily like the title of Wahlburgers. He's like, seriously, you're going to call it Wahlburgers? All right. Okay. So, yeah, they really, he didn't like that. I love it, though.
I think it's hysterical. It makes me think of a department store, too. Remember Bambergers?
No, I never had to contend with that. No.
Oh, come on. It was like Macy's, but it was Bambergers instead.
Well, locally here, our Macy's was called Dayton's.
Oh, really?
And then it changed to Marshall Fields, and then that changed to Macy's.
Yeah.
So it was all bought out, right? So,
okay, all right.
So, yeah.
But as I'm looking through all of the ads out there and things coming up about Wahlburgers, something else popped up that I was like, what? Tied to Mark Wahlberg's name.
Yep.
And apparently Mark Wahlberg is deciding to bring back the beloved, so to speak, TV drama Highway to Heaven, the one that used to star Michael Landon.
Yeah.
You
No,
remember this
yeah,
one?
I know the one. He's bringing it back?
It's coming hopefully coming back and coming to A&E, ironically the same network that they're putting Wahlburgers on.
That is so strange.
Isn't that so interesting?
Not really strange at all.
So
Same network,
I can't
same
put this in
everything.
here because I don't know what it is about Michael Landon, but Michael Landon has the ability to make anybody cry at any moment of any day.
By just smiling at them.
And that look that he has where there are tears just brimming right under the eyelids.
Oh yeah, yep.
He just had that way, and you
And then
you
especially
bawl
on
like a baby.
Especially on that show, then they would shine the light behind him so that it was like radiating out from behind him, and
Yep.
he was like smiling with that like teary smile of, oh, you done good, and everybody just felt so wonderful.
And if you don't remember what Highway to Heaven was, Michael Landon played an angel who helped troubled souls on Earth. And he basically, it was a really bad person or someone who was in big trouble and not figuring out their life.
Yeah.
And he would help them find their way. And it would have that touching moment at the end where he would have the light behind him, as Pat described. And I mean, everybody was so into Michael Landon, especially because of the Little House on the Prairie series. And I was so addicted to Little House on the Prairie when I was a kid, and to the point where my father calls himself Pa from the Little House.
Really?
That's where we started that whole thing.
Does he call you Half Pint?
No, he doesn't call me Half Pint.
He has to call you Half Pint.
No, I have a different nickname from my dad. It's my middle name, which is Grace. So so I'm Gracie, by the way.
It should be Half Pint. Really,
it should be Half Pint.
It should be. Or like quarter cup at least, or something, something like that.
Exactly.
Quarter cup.
So yeah, I thought this was kind of an interesting thing to put out here.
Maybe I'll just call you Quarter Cup from now on.
Want to call me Quarter Cup?
No.
Thank goodness.
Right. All right, we've got a lot more to cover. Maybe we should just keep it moving.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we're going to talk about cord cutting. Oops. Now let's get away from behind the traditional broadcast scene into the electronic universe known as the interwebs.
Ooh.
And so on and so forth. So what's going on in the inner tubes?
Well, you heard about last week's ruling of the FCC ruling that net neutrality was not legal.
Right.
That it was not out there. So they overturned that court decision about net neutrality. And so there's been a ton of stuff out there about what the net neutrality laws were, what it means now, especially when it comes to streaming services like Netflix. And basically what this means is that it's going, let me see if I can try to explain this in the right way. Telecommunication companies were basically, it was like, I'm stuck on this all the time.
Net neutrality is essentially they have to give everybody equal bandwidth, right? So they have to let everybody stream content or be able to retrieve content at the same rate, no matter what the content is.
But that they decided that high-speed internet providers didn't fall under the jurisdictions of what these services were, and so therefore it was eliminated, which means that now these providers can set their own prices for how much bandwidth they can provide to each customer. And so it's now possible that an internet service provider would make you pay extra fees to ensure that Netflix streams, to make sure that you got it
at the correct rate.
At the correct rate. And so it's one of those really concerning things for people who are in the industry, but at the same time, if they do this, if they decide to limit things like Netflix, Hulu Plus, Amazon Prime, then you're going to get if you're the first one to do it, you're actually, your customers are going to go berserk on you.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out in your favor. So who's going to be the one to step over that line to say you're going to have to pay more just to be able to stream Netflix?
That's going to be tough.
Right.
I can, and I think what they'll probably do is they'll probably end up saying we're going to put a surcharge on all streaming.
Right.
So then because basically what it is now all the cable companies are kind of allowed to charge people for streaming services like Netflix and stuff.
Right.
So and be able to throttle them as well, which is not good for the customer. And it's not great for the companies that are involved. It's only good for the cable and internet providers.
Right.
So other internet
and
providers.
It could actually turn to the cost increases could go towards Netflix as well. Like these services could turn to Netflix and say, we will charge you for the ability to be on our services.
It could even be a double charge.
Right.
It could be that they charge Netflix something, which means that Netflix will charge you.
Right.
And then the cable company could turn around and charge you as well. Just like some kind of monthly fee. And it wouldn't be, my guess is that it wouldn't be too high of a charge. Mm-hmm. But they would start doing it like it's a part of like all the other things. Mm-hmm. That's how they would break it out. They wouldn't say, oh, well, if you want Netflix, you have to pay $2 to me every month.
Right.
They would actually just put it in the surcharges or something like that and say the surcharges include a streaming bill of some sort of streaming fee.
This is what worries me, I think, the most as a consumer is that I don't have a lot of options to get internet service in my area. The one that I have is the best that I can get, which is fiber optic. And the other service providers that are in the area don't provide me that.
Right.
So they kind of have me in a position where I'm going to like, I'm getting really good service right now. I think 100 meg download right now.
Wow.
And yeah, it's great. And they actually increased me to 100 meg download when we were only paying 50, and they didn't change our rate, which was even better. Great. We were like, whoa.
That's awesome.
But now I'm used to this. Now I'm comfortable. Now I know what it feels like to have 100 meg download.
Yep.
And out of nowhere, I could be hamstrung with no other options to be able to make that up or change what I wanted to do without it making it very difficult for me. That's what I worry about.
Yeah. No, this is concerning for a lot of folks. And it should be, if you're listening to this and you're not concerned about it, why are you not concerned about it?
Right.
If you are listening to this show, most likely, since you are listening to a podcast, you are tech savvy, at least enough to get a podcast from the internet and put it on your mobile device or watch it live or whatever the hell you're doing. And so this should be very concerning for you because it's going to impact you in some way.
It is. And no, go ahead.
I was just, this really kind of, the news we've seen in the last few weeks has been kind of depressing for somebody who wants to be a cord cutter.
Yes.
Because we've seen the ABC free app all of a sudden want your TV provider.
Right.
Now we're putting streaming in the hands of your internet provider.
Right.
They are the powers that be in the United States anyway are saying no, we're going to tie this back to traditional media. No matter where you are. Because I mean, let's face it, most of the internet providers are also cable providers, are also, satellite and all that kind of other stuff. They're communications companies. So
exactly.
So you're using their services anyway, and now they have just one more way to charge you extra.
Mm-hmm.
And or to make sure that you need their services.
Yeah. Yeah, because as a cord cutter, especially if you're edging towards that end, which a lot of us, I think, are. If you're listening to the show,
I'm real close.
I know, and so are we. And a news bit came out today that TV subscriptions are dropping and video streaming services are increasing. There has been a 6% decrease in channel subscription television in the last 2 years, while streaming services grew 4% in the last 2 years.
So essentially, TV is losing market share, and they don't like it.
No.
Of course they don't like it.
And they're scared.
Right, and they are scared, and they got to figure it out. And I think what I said last week still holds true, that they need to figure out a way to provide a safe haven for cord cutters
Right.
that don't actually want their services,
Mm-hmm.
but need something to tie back to them. If they really wanted to do like what I would say is quote unquote the right thing, I think they would provide something where, like for $5 a month, $10 a month, they make sure that you have a subscription that doesn't really exist. It's more or less just for a username.
Right.
And then maybe that could also translate into internet, into whatever else. So, I mean, depending on who your provider is, but
Agree. And, you and I think are an example of what a lot of our audience is experiencing right now, that feeling of wanting to go down the road of cord cutting, but wanting to know when is the right time. When is it feeling like it's safe to do it without losing out on the things that you have now and feel like
Right.
you're still getting a benefit money-wise out of it.
right. All I want to do is watch episodes of Too Cute. That's all I want to do. I want to do it without any fuss or muss. I want to watch puppies. Damn it.
I want to watch your puppy porn. I get it.
That's all I want it for. So make it happen, please. This is something that we will be keeping our eye on as it goes through the process. Of course, it's probably going to be appealed here again
Oh, yeah.
and be brought up to another court. But for now, cable companies and other internet providers will be able to actually charge. So watch what's going on. Check your bill. And I don't know. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on. We should probably move it along into our app review.
Let's do it.
Okay. So this week for the app review, if you remember last week, I told you that I was going to be looking at Hulu Plus.
You did.
And this week I looked at Hulu Plus.
Oh, my goodness.
A full week on the app. And I'm going to say app, but it's really actually it's a couple of things with the service of Hulu Plus, and the service included for me anyway, watching on my iOS device, which is my iPad mini, and then also on the Apple TV. So, the review is going to be hopefully a little bit more comprehensive than just about the app.
I have one question for you. You
Yeah.
signed up for the Hulu Plus free, it was like a free week
Free week.
subscription, so
Yep.
you were able to experience it for free first.
Yes.
Got it.
So I have experienced it free for a week.
Got
That is my whole deal. That is my jam.
Oh, no, not this again.
And I was bugging Jules earlier today by saying that is my jam just over and over again.
Good Lord.
If you ever want to annoy somebody, you can do it with old phrases like that.
This is my jam.
This is my jam. All right. Now the app itself for the iOS, for the iPad mini, is really actually pretty nice. They go through, the way that Hulu works is that it's they go through and they mark which ones are most popular with their audience.
Right.
And they also have some other things that they throw in for funsies, like little clips from shows.
Oh, nice.
So, like, you might be scrolling through and you'll see, oh, here are some really popular shows on at the moment, which are great. They're usually fairly up to date, up to the minute. Like Lindsay Lohan promotes her new indie film at Sundance.
Oh.
There's a little clip of that.
Okay.
There's a little clip of it just says a title. It says, what's the dumbest thing you've texted today? I think that is my jam is the answer for me. But there's clips from like Jimmy Fallon, and let's see what else. Ichabod Crane from Sleepy Hollow,
Yes.
and other things like that. But it'll be like little clips,
Mhm.
and then they'll have like a couple of featured things, and then they'll say, okay, here's what's popular on TV. Boom. Here's more popular stuff. Here's what's popular in movies. Boom. Here are some recommendations. Boom. And they're all pretty solid. And then down at the bottom, they have down at the bottom of the thing, they have the actual networks and stuff like that. I'm going to hold it up a little bit to the camera there. But they have, there we go, the actual networks, and then you can go in there and check out the individual shows. Now, the individual shows, just so you guys know, it depends on the provider, what is actually there. Because some providers will say, some networks will say, you know what, this is a new show. We're going to give you all the episodes from this season, let you be able to really get into it and binge watch and go. Because a lot of these shows are like 10 shows in by now.
Right.
And then there are other ones, there are other shows and other networks that will say, no, we're just going to have the last 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is varied. And my wife was a little upset because she wanted to watch Dracula.
Yep.
She was like, she saw Dracula on there and she's like, I am going to watch Dracula. It started at episode 5. And she was a little upset about that.
Yeah.
She's like, well, why the hell would I get Hulu then? If I can't binge watch everything, why would I get Hulu?
Exactly. And that is so typical of Hulu, is just, if you didn't watch it in the beginning, you got to wait until everything comes out at once.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it is definitely one of those things where you kind of, you have to watch as you go. You have to watch as the new season is there. Otherwise, you might miss it, which is something that Netflix doesn't have to do because Netflix is usually older content,
right?
But they have everything,
mm-hmm.
right? They also have a section just for the Hulu original series, like Misfits, The Awesomes, East Los High,
mm-hmm.
Spy, Quick Draw, that type of stuff. And that is actually pretty good. I mean, as far as it goes for, like, I'm just going to pop something open here.
How does it work for those shows that they do for original programming? Is it easy to try to figure out which, like, is there a preview? Can you watch a little bit of it? Is there notes about it just to kind of get you hooked in?
Yeah, as soon as you click on it in the app, it will come up with a screen that it like takes the rest of the screen away and it becomes kind of darkened. And then it gives you a little promo with the show. It gives you a description of what it is. And then you can browse the series from there. And you can say, oh, okay, well, here's The Awesomes. And then it has like clips and shows and whatever may be the case. So like for The Awesomes, but it looks like a full web page.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yep. So it looks like a full page after the preview. So that's cool. That's really nice, actually. They lay it out pretty well, and they give you lots of information. And that's on the TV side. Then there is the movie side for Hulu Plus, which is not well known.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has said, I want to watch a movie, I'm going to go to Hulu Plus.
Yeah, what's their selection like?
There is a lot of heavy petting over on the movie side of Hulu Plus.
Really?
Yes. There is a lot of heavy petting. It's all very much, you know. This type of music is pretty prevalent over there. One of the hottest movies right now is one called Babysitters. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Babysitters. And then the other one is called A Teacher. Oh, yeah. And, I don't know. It's just, everything just looks like porn over there. Everything just looks like porn. Either that or it has Hulk Hogan in it. I don't understand that at all, but, you want a little late night Hulu action? Ooh, just switch over to the movie side, boys and girls. Actually, boys and girls don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think
that's
a good
more
idea,
adult. That's more adult stuff right there.
It's the internet version of Skinamax going on here.
Exactly. But I mean, there's like, I mean, seriously, other than maybe some old movies and older movies. There are no new movies, no new movie titles that I know.
Okay.
As a movie. And they don't look like regular movies. They look a little shady. So
So this is why Hulu Plus is not known for its movie selection because
Right.
nobody goes to it.
Because it's all porn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like light porn though. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like, triple X whatever. I don't know what that would be called. I don't know what it is. It's not like they have. No, I'm not even gonna go there.
Okay.
It's not,
That said to me before the
it's-
show, he's like, I hope
it's
you
not
like
like-
porn.
it's it's not like it's like the red light district or anything like that. It's just like topless girls. That's about it.
All right.
So, but I think that the app and the service, I'm trying to figure out whether or not it's worth it for my $7-8 a month, whatever it is,
right.
and I think it's $8. And I don't know. I really don't know. I'm still figuring it out. I'm gonna pay for a month, and I'm gonna check it out for a month,
Okay.
and I'll get back to you.
I
But
think that if their original content deems itself worthy to be watching, I
Mhm.
think that's where you're going to get it from, because and the immediate watch thing where you
Sure.
can watch things that are now airing on broadcast, which you can't get out of Netflix. If those two things come together and they're worth it, there's your monetary value.
Yeah.
To me, I still haven't found that monetary value in it yet.
yeah, and that's kind of tougher. It's one of
Mhm.
those things where you look at it and you say, well, okay, if I cut cable or my TV provider,
Right.
would this be a good alternative?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would keep you up to date pretty well. I mean, as far as like, the Tonight Show and whatever else is going on kind of in media in general.
Yeah.
However, I don't know that it would be the perfect solution if you drop cable. If that makes sense. Only because you do have to be watching these shows, otherwise they will fall off.
That's the thing, is you have to stay up with it, and there's no DVR for you to just save it and place it there to just do a binge watch if you wanted to.
Right.
And that's a benefit for those of us that have those cable satellite providers. You can just say, hey, dump all of that one season and I'll watch it during the summer before it's on all that other stuff. And so that in itself is one of those big reasons why I haven't cut over. And the occasional sports watching, especially for football, and I know that they're starting to move into streaming more of the NFL games, but not all of them. And
Right.
so if you're a sports fan, unless you
But-
have the ability to see it on big screen somewhere in a bar.
Right.
So-
You have to go to a sports bar or whatever.
That's right.
Actually, no, there was something cool that I saw today that NFL is going to be going to Xbox.
Yes.
There's an NFL. Is it an app or is it the NFL, like the official NFL live stream or something like
It's
that?
their NFL network.
Network.
And they're tying it into an Xbox Live Gold subscription that you can be able to access the NFL network.
Right, and they will have cloud streaming, and they will have other things, so you can actually keep up with it. It will be another pay service, but it's good.
Right.
I would assume that it's going to be less than if you were to get the NFL pay-per-view stuff on Dish, or what is it? Not Dish. It's the one that
DirecTV.
DirecTV.
Yeah, DirecTV.
So I'm guessing it would be like that, but I don't know. I don't know.
Obviously they're recognizing that people want to have the mobile access to this stuff, and
Yeah.
so and the sports in itself. I mean, I think as we get closer to the Olympics, we're going to see more of it. But I did read something recently that they are not streaming the opening ceremonies for the Olympics on any internet services. You must watch it on broadcast television.
Yeah, it's always weird. It's,
I know.
We're in a very strange time right now because streaming services have become mainstream.
Yep.
And TV is traditional broadcast is trying to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out exactly how they fit into the program, and they're finding that more often than not they are not.
Right.
They are not fitting at all into the program.
Right.
That people are choosing to go streaming, and so they're trying to pull people back. And it's the same. This is a discussion we're going to be having in 2014,
Oh yes.
like big time.
We had this in 2012. And if you remember NBC's coverage of the Summer Olympics, it was a mess. And people were upset. So I know
now
we'll talk about it too.
Now there's been more success with monetization. I can't talk, but you should know what I mean. With ad revenue and stuff like that. So there's a lot of money at stake here. And some of it could come out of our pockets.
It's true. That is true.
Or some more of it could come out of our pockets, depending on what's going on. So this is going to be, I think, one of the top issues for 2014, and we'll figure out what's going on. So
I agree. Man, we are like all over the place and going long, so we're probably going to have to jump, aren't we?
Yeah, let's jump, and we'll go to... There we go. I got it on that one.
You got it on that one.
I didn't know I didn't miss the button, so that's good.
I have some special poop for you, Pat Crane.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
Do you like your poop special?
Maybe.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, just see if you answer that question in the affirmative without the upswing in your voice.
Yes, I love my poop special. That sounded a little crazy.
You remember a little bit way back, we talked about a reality show out there called Killer Karaoke.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, they're returning and they're kicking it up a notch. They got rid of Steve-O as their host.
Good, because he was terrible. You watched the show, right?
I watched one episode of it and I laughed my ass off because it was just so stupid that it was funny.
Yeah.
But it's Steve-O and he's a terrible host. Well, this time they've come back. They're going to be coming back on February 20th. They're bringing back with a new host, Mark McGrath. Okay, now
Wait.
Mark McGrath. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Mark McGrath.
Mark from the 90s.
Yes.
What?
Yes. The singer, Mark McGrath.
No,
and,
yeah.
He's coming. So he's going to be the host. And then their big promo thing that they're showing to try to get everybody to come watch it again is that they're going to be upping the ante with a couple of different scoring things. The other part, too, is that they're using things like cow brains, dumping cow brains on contestants while they sing. Yeah, really bad. And it's horrible. It's just, I mean, they're competing for 10 grand. Do you want to get dumped with cow brains on your head for 10 grand?
No, I don't. I'm trying to think of what my cutoff. What would your cutoff be? Where would you start? Cow brains dumped on you.
Oh, that would be
how much? How much do you want to make from that?
If you're gonna dump cow brains on my head, it's got to be $500,000.
What?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
No.
All right, I'd say 250.
No, you wouldn't. You'd take less. You'd take far less than that. You would take far less than that.
You're telling me what my price tag is. Look at you.
Yes.
All right, what do you think my price tag is?
I think your price tag would be 50 grand.
Oh, no, 100.
I mean, that's Wisconsin money. That's good money. For Wisconsin, that's good money.
Freaking cow brains on my head while I'm singing.
50K, baby. That's like a car and a half.
You're talking to me, the person who can't, get my feet wet in the middle of winter when there's water all over the floor after I took my boots off. So,
well, with 50 grand, you could move. How's that?
Okay, what's your price?
50K is probably about that'd be okay. I'd be okay with that.
Be okay with 50K?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they gave me the clothes to wear.
Yeah.
If I had to wear my own clothes, well, then that would have to be 50 grand and $10. Because I wear such expensive clothes.
Oh God! You and your what T-shirt are you wearing today? I can't even see it.
The sunny state of denial.
I see. Yes.
Welcome to the sunny state of denial.
His Target special.
Yeah. Actually, I think this one was from an online store
or something. Yeah. The bottom line is that $10,000. I don't know if I'd be going on live television or television at all to do a singing competition to have cow brains dumped on my noggin.
I think you would. I think you would.
All of a sudden, you've gone
I
off the
think
street.
you would. I don't know.
We'll have
Just
to
goofing.
see. I mean, the opportunity came around and I had the right encouragement. We might see.
Right. I'll sign you up for the show.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. And let's head into the watch list right now. Let's do it.
Okay.
The watch list. Now, this is the part of the show where we take a look at shows and we start at episode 1. So we go back and, sometimes it's new shows, sometimes it's older shows that have been around a while. And right now, what are we watching for this week?
We are watching Lilyhammer, an original series on Netflix starring Steven Van Zandt from The Sopranos, and he plays ex-gangster Frank Tagliano, entering witness protection in Norway, and he's kind of that fish out of water, learning the ropes and trying to find his way and stay out of trouble, which of course he can't.
He can't do it because he's not a nice guy.
No, he's not a nice guy.
He's actually the bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's also the main character, which makes it kind of funny.
We watched episodes 3 to 5 on this round, and so last week you really were not feeling the show.
I was not liking the first episode until the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then I was like, I liked the last 10 minutes of the first episode because I thought it was cheeseball. I thought the production quality was garbage.
Yep.
And I don't like watching hot garbage. No matter how popular Steven Van Zandt is. So I was kind of like, where is this show going?
Yeah.
Second show, I was all right with it. Second episode, loved it.
And now?
Third through fifth, I like it. I really like this show now. I was not sure episode 1, but now I really like it. I understand why we are seeing a third season of this show. This is a fun show.
There's so much you can do with it, which is, you don't think so when you think about the original concept.
Right.
But they figured out a way to really create this world. And I find it really fascinating to get a look inside Norwegian culture and how an American who has no clue whatsoever how to work this is trying to find his way and using his skills in New York and how to, how a guy or you just get it done by bribing somebody and that typical mobster mentality that he has.
Yeah, and there are so many funny little things.
Yeah.
That are just so funny to me about this whole show. And I'll just give you some generics anyway.
Right.
So on the way to Lilyhammer, he was listening to a tape of Norwegian. And I think by now he's been around for a couple of months anyway. And in this couple of months, he perfectly understands most of the Norwegian that's going on. He still has a little fish out of water, so he doesn't necessarily understand everything that's going on. But they speak in Norwegian. He replies in English. He doesn't care. He's like, no, I'm going to speak my language. This is the way that I am. I will understand you. I will try to, I will understand your language, but I'm not going to speak it. There's no way. That's not going to happen.
Right.
So that's kind of one of those funny things. The other funny thing is that, we have a lot of opposites in this show. We have him being an Italian American,
right,
with kind of loose and fast rules.
Yep.
Going to Norway, which is a little, I want to say anal, and so I'm going to. They're a little anal retentive in Norway. Yeah, they like rules.
Yes.
They expect conformity in a lot of things. So seeing that is always funny because they think like either they're going to pull a fast one on somebody and get away with it. Well, no. He has Steven Van Zandt, his character lives by different rules than everybody else, and he will get what he wants. Johnny will, or Frank, whatever you want to call him, he will always get what he wants. He might screw up something, or something might get screwed up, but he is a fixer. He makes sure that this stuff gets done. Frankie the Fixer, right? That was his mob name.
Yep.
And then you have what's his name? Is it Gear?
Gare. Yeah.
And he is the exact opposite. He's the guy that you got to watch during this show because everything bad that happens on this show happens to him.
Yes, he is the foil.
Right. So it's, he tries to do something right and it goes terribly wrong for him. And meanwhile, Frank does something wrong. He ends up making everything right and making those that wronged him pay and making everybody that helped him feel really good about themselves. Even if they didn't want to help him.
Yeah. And the one thing I am enjoying this show a great deal. I will say that. But what happens with the show is that it becomes a little bit of formulaic humor
Sure.
because it's a situation where Frank has to figure out how to fix something.
Yeah.
And the opportunity for him to run into that specific person to use the information that he has against them in order to get his way happens every single time in every single episode.
Sure.
And it's just like, the guy walks into his bar and he happens to be near the doorman and tells him to go out and then realize that he's a doctor who happens to be the doctor of his business partner. And it's all coincidental, but it's all so formulaic that you're like, the writers did this nice little thing where they just tied it all up with a little bow.
But, I think that what we're seeing here is we're seeing what happens during a first season, right? You're trying to establish a pattern so that when you break that pattern, it's something special. And right now we're in building the pattern. And now that we've built the pattern, I think that especially since we only have 3 more episodes for this season, we're going to start to see this stuff unravel a little bit on Frank. And maybe have Gare get a little bit more headroom on his investigation into Frank.
Right. But so, I mean, it looks like Gare is no longer with us.
It looks like Gare is actually a much younger Stephen Buscemi.
Yes, he really does look like him.
He is like Steve Buscemi's clone, brought up in Norway.
Yeah, and with really good English.
It's crazy.
He's got really good English.
It's crazy.
What's interesting to me too. I don't know if you noticed this as part of this episode or the last episode that just aired.
Okay. That we saw.
They send Gare to Graceland, but he ends up in New York City and he winds up getting into a situation, and he is in the police station sitting next to what is very obviously a male cross-dresser.
Yeah.
And I sat there the whole time, and they wind up getting into this bad situation where he's with the cross-dresser. They're in they get into a situation with the mafia. There's a scuffle, and no one in that world says anything about the fact that this is a man dressed as a woman, which was like, it was so weird to me that this would not be brought up as part of the culture of the mafia, like to bring up, do you know that that's a man? Like we think that Gare is like getting snowed because he thinks it's a woman.
No. They kind of play it. They don't say it, but they definitely play to it.
See, and I couldn't see that, and I was wondering, like, what are they trying? What's the message that they're trying to do? Because I was expecting the whole, like, Gare thinks this is a woman. Therefore, when he figures out it's a man, he's going to be a big jerk about it.
Well, and I think we've got a couple of different audiences going on too, because you have the audience in Northern Europe that's going to be watching this, and they have a much different perspective than Americans. Right. So the guys that are watching in Northern Europe, they know. But they don't care. They've been around the sexual revolution in Europe and in Northern Europe has been around for a lot longer than in America. And there are different rules for TV. There's different rules for blah blah blah. So they're just kind of, I think they're more used to it than the mobsters would be. But the mobsters kind of played to it without saying it outright. And so I think they're trying to balance what both audiences might want out of that scene.
I guess what I was trying to say in that respect is that it felt like they were setting us up for some kind of mistaken identity plot. Like that,
I see
the
what you mean.
formulaic kind of thing. And then and then it didn't pay off, which is what I thought the whole show is kind of about, where you're like, oh, you didn't realize that that's a man. And then he's going to get upset about it, or he's going to freak out, or that kind of thing. And it never happened, which was odd to me, because the whole show is kind of based around these series of unfortunate events for Gare, or things that happen to him where he thinks that that Frank is an Arab, or that that was the one thing about this latest batch of episodes that was like, what happened? What broke?
I just think that this show is filled with all these kooky characters. I mean, like all these really just kind of out there characters, and that's a way to kind of bring in some expected comedy and then also have some unexpected comedy with those characters.
Yeah.
So
the other thing I like about the show a lot is that it doesn't try to play to you with gorgeous people. These are real looking people.
Right.
And some of them are pretty darn ordinary, and some are just downright unattractive.
Yeah.
But it is real. It's like, this is it. This is Norway. This is how people are. It's not going with the crazy cool. And I really liked that part of it. It feels like you get really more connected, because Frank Tagliano he's not the most attractive man in the world.
No, and his lower lip sticks out about a half a mile.
I know. It's like the opening shot that they do with him on the train is like, you watch the curve of his mouth go down, and it goes all the way down to his chin bone.
I know. It's
goes
crazy.
Really down that way. It's
and
really
Lori
funny.
in the chat room has it right. It's kind of Fargo-esque.
Very much.
And so it's very strange and surreal and stuff like that. Say, hey, are you willing to play another game?
Why, yes, I am. That was fun last week.
Yes, it was pretty fun last week. Hopefully we can continue the fun this week with Know Your Norse. All right. This is a game show where I ask Jules questions about Norway, and she has to answer them.
Okay.
And right or wrong, she's probably going to come away a winner. Who knows?
We'll see. I always win everything anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. So I have a series of trivia questions for you. Now, I will let you answer them if you want, or we have multiple choice. So if you just want multiple choice, you could just say so.
Okay.
And some of them I need to do multiple choice for you, but
okay,
we'll get to it. All right. Norway is renowned for its fjords. Exactly what was responsible for creating them in the first place? Would you like a multiple choice?
Yes.
All right. So we have volcanoes, earthquakes, glaciers, or the Norse gods.
Well, before you read the answers, glaciers is what came to my mind, so I will use that.
You are correct. Of course they did.
Yes, of course they did, especially because that's how Wisconsin got all their hills. So I kind of know that.
And Minnesota got all their lakes.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. So which of these countries does Norway not share a land border with?
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Sweden, Finland, Denmark, or Russia?
Russia.
Oh, so sorry. Oh. They do not share a land border with Denmark, but right up at the tippy top of Norway, right in the northern little part, there's a small border with Russia. And of course, Sweden and Finland are right in that same vicinity. So it all kind of merges together.
That Scandinavian block right there.
That's right. That's right. Now, the government style of, they have a prime minister and stuff like that, but they also have a king. What is the king of Norway's first name?
Oh boy.
Is it Arne, Bjorn, Harald, or Olaf?
It's going to be a total guess. I will go with Olaf.
Oh, so sorry. It's actually Harald It's
Harald?
King Harald V. I was actually, when I went to Norway, and this was many, many years ago. This is a couple of decades ago.
Yeah.
I actually got to go. My one of my relatives over there was one of the greenskeepers.
Oh, wow.
At the palace.
Nice.
And so we actually got to go in. The royal family was away at their summer place, but we got to go to the main castle in Oslo, and it was phenomenal.
Oh.
All decked out. There was like a room where the ceiling was all of the birds of Norway, just like flying around on the ceiling, and then you have the trees and you have all the different sights and things. It was beautiful, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. Dining room, huge, opulent, rooms of filled with magistry, of course.
Nice.
Of course. But it was really, really cool. So, all right, here we go. Back to the questions. The northernmost point of Norway is found in an archipelago located in the Arctic Ocean, which was first settled in the 17th century as a base for an economically important industry.
Oh, my.
The collapse of what industry in the 19th century led to the temporary abandonment of Svalbard, which is what it's called.
Oh, my goodness. I need multiple choice.
Was it coal mining, petroleum extraction, tourism, probably not, or whaling?
19th century.
19th century, collapse of the industry.
I'm going to say whaling on this one.
You would be correct on whaling.
Yes.
Of course it's whaling. That's the best thing to do in the north. Coal mining is, you don't want a coal mine when it's cold like that.
No.
Mm-mm. All right. Last question. And this will decide your fate in this game, whether you win or lose. Now, Norway has a sizable claim in Antarctica. There we go. Although no Antarctic claims are officially recognized. What is the name they give to the region to which they lay claim? Is it Coatsland, Queen Maud Land, Enderby Land, or George V Land? It's George V Land, but
George V Land. Read them one more time.
Coatsland, Queen Maud Land, Enderby Land, or George V Land?
I'll say Coatsland.
Oh, so sorry. It is Queen Maud Land. And unfortunately, you lose. I don't have any losing music.
I am a loser today.
I don't have any losing music. I could play
This shows exactly how much I know about Norway.
But congratulations. You're a big loser on Know Your Norsk. All right, there we go. I don't know. All right, does that do it for the show?
I believe it must do it for the show.
It must do that thing for the show that we do.
Yes.
So I'll play this.
All right.
Well played, Jules. You didn't win, but you played well.
I sucked at it. That's okay, though. I don't know.
How did you guys do at home? Hopefully you guys were playing at home, too. Now, if you want to get a hold of us for anything, if you want to talk to us, please do that. We really appreciate all of the emails and forum posts and stuff like that. Anytime that we get to talk with you guys, we love it. You can email us at thattvshow@gmail.com. You can hop on our forums and all that kind of stuff over at thattvshow.net. We have a link for you to our forums. And we can also be reached via the Twitter at That TV Show, or even individually. Isn't that right, Jules?
That is correct. You can find Pat on Twitter at Pat Crane with a K, and you can find me, Jules, at Jules RPG.
That is correct. Well, that is going to do it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to check out the Signals Media All-Star Network over at signalsmedia.com. All of our great shows are over there. Check them out, please. I was updating the website this week.
Nice.
Yeah, we have videos over there too now, so go check it out, signalsmedia.com.
Woo.
There we go. Now, we will be back next week, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Central. Right?
Right.
The following week we might be a little screwed up, but
we'll talk about that. But this
right.
next week is fine.
All right, cool. So we will be back next week, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Central, uploaded by Wednesday at some point. And for Jules Scott, Jules, once again, thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
And I am Pat Crane, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?